Hello, welcome to this episode of 10 at 10. I'm Spencer.
And I'm Madison, the digital strategist on our AdOps team here at Key Media.
Oh, I didn't know we're doing full intros. I am a digital specialist here at Key Media Solutions. And so, yeah, this is kind of just a monthly thing that we do. And it's kind of just a recap of various things that happen in social media, some like cool little snippets, stuff that's upcoming. I feel like it's kind of delved a little bit more into AI nowadays. Just because they kind of almost go hand in hand where AI kind of impacts social media and vice versa, that kind of stuff. So, um, yeah.
Yeah, lots of TikTok, lots of AI, a few other things. We've got kind of across the board news today. I think a little bit of everything from every different platform and everywhere. So
Yeah.
I will let Spencer kick us off if you want.
Cool. So I'll start with probably the biggest thing coming up, and that is the 2025 music recaps. So if you're not familiar, this is kind of something I don't know when it was actually established. I want to say it was like 2016. It's been a while.
2016 immediately popped in my head too. That feels like a recap year,
It's
kind of or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
And so basically, it's a thing that music apps like Spotify, YouTube Music, any other one, basically, they'll have a recap for what you listen to for the year, where you stack against other people. That can be like if you're in the top whatever percentage of various artists. And it's just different genres, listening streaks, just a whole bunch of data about what you've done for the year with your music. And this kind of a cool little marketing thing where I know last year we did one. I think maybe we'll do it again this year, where it's kind of a cool little marketing thing where you can kind of recap your business too, where you can show like, oh, cool, here's how our year was and that kind of stuff. And it's kind of just a nice little thing. You don't really get that a whole lot where it's organic, where everyone on the internet's talking, and you can ask basically anyone like, hey, what was your list or that kind of stuff. And people usually share them on their media, like social media accounts and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there's this kind of sense of pride that it elicits. I know I feel that as well. I'm actually not a Spotify user, so I have to say the YouTube Music recap is not as cool. But they
I have more for that though.
yeah, but I think that it gives you sort of the sense of pride of like this is the I spent all my time this year in this space or this mood, and it is definitely fun to share with each other. I think it's cool that you bring that into marketing too, and let some of those stats connect people to it.
Yeah. And kind of going into YouTube Music a little bit, I know I used that one actually, and so I'm excited for this one. And they're actually using an AI-powered interactivity. So, and
Oh,
I kind
cool.
of was looking into it. I couldn't see it's not on platform yet, but basically it allows you to ask questions about your like anything. So you can be like, well, what was I for? I don't know, this artist. What was the percentage was I for this? How much time did I use for that? So it lets you actually talk with some kind of AI, I assume, to kind of see if there's random burning questions. Maybe you had a kick for rock and roll for a little bit. It's like, how long was I listening to just rock music? That kind of stuff. So I'm excited to try that out. Like I said, I tried looking into it to see if it was available yet. Not quite yet, but something I'm
I know I
looking
was just thinking I
forward to.
might go look after this, but that's good to know it's not yet.
I'm really excited. So
We
we'll
were we
see.
talked last time Spencer and I did the social media. We had discussed a little bit about the AI bubble bursting. I think it'll be
Mhm.
interesting to see if that AI interactivity is still around next year in their recap, or if that's something that people maybe thought was cool and then didn't use, or if it turns out to be a really cool thing that's here
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, who
Um,
knows? And then a little bit more for just random news. So Twitter or X, they just recently implemented a new setting basically where it allows you to see countries of origin. So you can look at any account basically and it'll tell you which country they're coming from. And this is kind of just like a transparency tool that they've created and added. So it kind of gives you a little bit more insight. And I don't know if you guys were watching. I think it was like 2 weeks ago when I was meeting with Darby for 10 at 10, and I mentioned that a lot of social media content, if it's something to kind of engage, if it's if it's trying to rage bait you, if it's trying to get engagement from you, more than likely it's because they want money. And that's kind of what this is showing, where a lot of it looks like U.S. political commentary. A lot of it's coming from accounts that are outside the United States.
mhm.
So kind of just in that same vein, where it's like if it looks like it's trying to like get a reaction out of you, more than likely it is that kind of stuff. And so this kind of just is a little bit of transparency to make it where it's like, this person just said something, whatever, and it's just like, how relevant is that kind of stuff?
It reminds me of the Superman movie, but I probably shouldn't say. I won't give you spoilers, but
And then lastly, this is my last piece of news, and more AI. So Google just announced their new Nano Banana Pro. and it's their image generation model. And basically, it's just a very high end. And I was kind of looking at it. I haven't tried it out quite yet, but it's just it's a much higher resolution, very accurate image generation model. But obviously, we've seen those before. I think the coolest thing about it is they're actually able to generate little watermarks in the images, so you can actually, so you can't see it, but the AI is able to generate and detect, like, oh hey, this is an AI image. I think that helps a lot with transparency, where if it's something that's like, this is really weird, how is, I want to see if it's AI, it can actually have a watermark to tell you it is AI. So I feel like
Wow.
it helps with transparency a lot.
I think that kind of leads into I just have to say about the Nano Banana. I was like, I woke up one morning whenever that rolled out, and it was like my whole feed was just full of bananas. People were
Hmm.
really mad about the banana. I was like, what is going on? So it took me a while to figure out that people were generating images of bananas in the Nano
Yep.
Banana. But so that kind of brings me to my topic, that TikTok is, I think you had mentioned this last time as well, but TikTok is definitely coming out with its own AI content limit,
Hmm.
so that you can limit content on your feed from AI. And I think that I'm assuming they're kind of getting ahead of that with the AI watermark to try and maybe bring in a little bit of certainty in some of that, so not all of their AI content starts to get filtered. Maybe they can kind of generate some like higher quality AI content and maybe lower quality that can work with those filters. But it'll be interesting to see. I think we'll soon see that over the next year in almost all platforms again as well.
Yeah.
Um, so just be aware that I want consumers and marketers to know too, to be aware of that if you're using AI generated content. Just remember that there is kind of a slow consumer buy-in and behavior or acceptance around that, especially on social media. And you're now seeing those filters come in. So just be smart. Make sure you know whether that platform you're on, kind of what the consensus is about AI before you're using some of that content. And then I think, like for example, I think Facebook is a lot more open to it than some like TikTok users and etc. Especially if they're putting that filter in there. So just keep an eye on that. And then a little update on the TikTok deal as well. We don't really have much. We've been keeping you updated as much as we can. But the latest news is that the U.S. has still said that it's been sold to a U.S. company, U.S. group of investors, along with one U.S. government official. But Beijing has still, and the China officials have still not responded nor confirmed that sale. And so recently, a senator, Ed Markey, requested a briefing on the status of that deal, just kind of being like, hey, what is, like we're all saying, like what's going on in a more official capacity. So
Hmm.
if that comes of anything, we'll let you know. Supposedly it's supposed to be switched over December 16th. Like we predicted, I don't think that will be happening, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Um, yeah. Do you have any other comments on that, Spencer?
No, it just keeps on. We've been talking about it for like a year now. I just,
Mhm.
every time it's, oh, here's the deadline, and then that deadline gets pushed. So we'll really see, and I'll be honestly surprised if it does, if this is the actual deadline.
Yeah, and then something else I wanted to mention too. I think in the past I was a little hesitant to say whether I think people should put ad dollars into TikTok next year because of all the uncertainty. I think because of the uncertainty, I don't think that anything will really change next year. And I was doing some research yesterday on some UGC content, and I realized that I think the number was like 62 or 67% of online marketing or businesses that market online say they're going to use UGC content in the next year. So I think we are going to see a really big rise in. I don't think we're going to see a change in TikTok advertising. I think we're just going to see a rise more in like user generated content than some AI, due to all those filters and stuff. So I
Yep.
don't necessarily caution people to stay away from it any longer. I think there's still going to be lots of money in TikTok in the next year. So,
Yep.
um, but yeah, and then I'll just throw this one in really quick because I thought it was really interesting. But Snapchat put out a bunch of holiday data, and something that's really interesting from specifically Snapchat's users is that a lot of them, almost 60% of their consumers, are still shopping after Christmas, and then a large percentage of those people are all doing it after Christmas. Usually a lot of people, of course, shopping for themselves. I'm sure they got a little money in their pocket, or they realize they have more, a little Christmas money, or they have more left over after gifts than they thought. And the top top categories for products for those is fashion, beauty, electronics, and food. So kind of good news. You don't have to completely stop marketing on Snapchat once as soon as Christmas is over. You still have some chance for some holiday dollars in there as well.
Yeah.
So,
No, makes sense.
but yeah, thanks for joining another social media 10 at 10.
Yep. Thank you guys. We'll see you in like a month. Who knows? I think it'll be New Year's by that time, won't it be?
Yeah, we'll talk about social media in the new year,
Yep.
probably. So, all right, we'll see you. Have a great day.